Good morning people, it's Monday 11 o'clock, here I am at the workshop. Now this week's going to be lots of bits and pieces of things because I'm waiting for parts. I'm waiting for lots of spare parts for the 2CV. I've got to ring 2CV City and check that my order's gone in. I've also got to wait for the helicoils to come and the inner tube to come and the oil filters to come. So what I'm going to do first today is have a massive tidy up, and after I've had a massive tidy up I'm going to do something that will improve your viewing experience if I do create such a thing. I suppose I do. I'm going to put some lights above the bench to start with, 2 6-foot fluorescents above the bench, and also if I've got enough fluorescents, and I think I have, I'm going to put 2 6-foot fluorescents above the lathes as well, which will increase the ambient lighting over the work areas, which should be good. I've got lighting feeds already in the ducting, so I can just pop a lighting feed, pop a junction box on the lighting feed, and pick up the power there, and I'll run a conduit down the walls and put a switch on it for each one. So that should be a simple job. But first, a big tidy up to get the mess out of the place, and also so I can get on the bench. I could do things like strip the other head down and grind the valves, and when I put these lights up I'm going to crack on with that. So those little jobs can be done, but if the parts don't come in sort of quick order, what I'll do is I'll start on the hacksaw, get that dug out and get some paint on it, and that'll be another project underway. So there you go. That's about it for now. When I get tidied up and get some lights up, I'll bring you back and I'll show you something maybe a bit more interesting than me rabbiting away in front of the camera. Bye for now. Here's a little job that I've just done. Brighten that up, get all the rust off it, put a coat of paint on it. I do that because with this type of deep well, the inner tube blows into there and sticks to the rust, right? And you get, when you pull the inner tube off, you get this in the middle, right? And it abrades the inner tubes, right? And buggers them up, causes punctures. I've had any God's amount that have gone around the valve because you tried to push the valve out and the inner tube's been stuck to the rust, so I've given that a clean off. Here's another thing. I managed to get me 3 formers. Now they don't fit the nose of the ram, but I can soon make an adapter to make them fit the nose of the ram, and I've got another 3 coming. So they do appear on eBay every now and again, and I want to get this working because I need to bend some exhaust pipes for this 2CV tractor. So there we go. So that's something else that's being delivered this week. Okay, I'll bring you back later when I can remember how to turn this camera off. Good afternoon people, it's Monday, it's 4:30, and I grossly overestimated how many fluorescent fittings I have left. I've actually got 1 6-foot and 1 5-foot. They both work very well, but what I think I might do is either put the 5-foot over the Colchester and the 6-foot over the Covmac and get 2 LEDs for over the bench up there. You can actually see how dark it is there. But you don't really work. I mean, I've put the lights in the sensible place, but you know, they're behind me, so I do need more light. I think that's what I'll do. I'll put those over the lathes, and as luck would have it, tomorrow I'm probably not going to be here. I'm going taking my youngest to Beverley for an orthodontics appointment at 2:15, so it's not really worth me coming in tomorrow, because I probably wouldn't get here till 10:30 or 11 o'clock, and then I've got to virtually turn around and go back again. So I'll probably give it a miss tomorrow, but that means I'm going past Drift Electrics at Hutton Cranswick, so I can pop in there and get two 6-foot LED batten fittings. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I've got those two, they both work. I've tidied the workshop up, it's all nice and clean. I've almost finished tidying the bench up, but it's 4:30 and I've probably had enough for today. Well, I've been on the poo run with Keith. We took a load of poo to the CA site and got rid of some of my junk. I give the inside of that wheel a nice coat of rust-proof primer, and I've put my other angle plate to soak in my organic apple-based de-rusting stuff. That side of it actually cleaned up very well on a piece of wide flat emery, but the other side's quite badly rusted, so that one actually might get a trip across the shaper. This side's alright, I can use that side as a reference and work to that, but it's certainly not as good as the other one. I've got the cylinder head bolted to, but that's sitting on 3 bolt heads to keep it off the bottom of the tin, and it's just soaking, so I'll have to see what that's like tomorrow, see if we've got a nice line of white bubbles on it, because my rust removing fluid is almost worn out. I think I've used it several times and it's all the acid has gone out of it. It's probably more or less neutral by now. So anyway, there we go. We'll call that's it for today. Catch you later, people. Bye for now. Hello. Tuesday morning, and we've got plunder. My mate Steve came round and said, "Hey, do you want these? I don't want them anymore." And he brought me some metal as well. Now this metal is like inch by 1/8, inch by 3/16, and some of it's inch by 1/4, and it's galvanised, heavily galvanised, and it's he takes it out of he gets firewood from a skip next to a double glazing place where they chuck all their old window frames and door frames, and he goes and empties it for them and uses it as firewood. And these are the ceiling bars off the sills of the doors, and I use absolutely masses of this metal, so if you ever see an old door frame, you can nick the metal out of it. It's well worth it. I don't know if these are going to be any good. I know Steve used them. I know when Steve got them new, I wasn't very impressed with them. I've never seen the little saw bench before, but what I'll probably do is just check them out, see if they work, clean them up, and then maybe sell them or keep them or give them away to somebody or whatever. But the metal goes in the metal stores. In the meantime, I've got the black conduit. I've been buying new old stock fluorescent fittings, because I figure that given that I've got half a box full of 6-foot fluorescent tubes, and I paid the same price for these as you would for a 6-foot single, these are 6-foot twins, I would just get 2 new ones. I've looked at LEDs. LEDs, the cheapest 6-foot LED luminaire you can get is about 35 quid, right? And that is a cheap one. And so 2 for above this bench would be 70 quid. And they last about 5 years. So at the end of 5 years, I've got another 70 quid to spend. Is that 5 years of usage really going to save me 70 quid in electricity? I doubt it. So there you go. Anyway, I'll crack on, get the conduits put in, find somewhere to put a light switch. Oh, probably there. Right, and we'll have these lights up and wired. Bye for now, see you later. Hi there folks. Tuesday evening, 5 o'clock. I got the lights up, got the ceiling roses up. It wasn't easy, because under this ceiling is joists, and I can only fix the plates on the joists. The 2 fluorescent lights turned out to be different. One has fixers near the centre and one has fixers at the ends, but we've got it done and they're all hanging nice and straight, and we've got the switch box on the wall and the conduit up there and the wire in, so it's just a matter of putting it all together tomorrow, putting a junction box on the lighting feed up there, and we'll be on. Now, I did tell you on Monday that I wouldn't be here today. Well, Emily's, my daughter's, dental appointment was cancelled, so I jumped out of bed and said, right, I'm going to work. I have to pop to the electrical supplier again tomorrow morning because he's charged me for 8 hook plates, but he's only given me 4, so there you go. Other than that, the day went alright, apart from a little bit of damage to the side of my finger, caused by leaving my standing knife open on the bench and moving my hand across the bench and straight into the finger. So there you go. And guess what? I just put a new sharp blade in it. Isn't that always the way? Right folks, I'll finish this tomorrow and I'll show you it working, and then when I've got 4 more hook plates I'll move on to the lathe ones and we'll put those on. Bye for now. Here we are folks, Wednesday morning. The lights are up, I've finished them, junction boxes are on. So there we go. So that's without the lights. And that's with the lights. What an incredible difference. There's only one cock up, and that's I've got the switches on the wrong lights. But I can soon swap that over. But there you go. What a difference is that, eh? What a difference is that. Beautiful over the bench lights. Can't be bad. Right, I'll crack on with the lathe lights, but first I'm going to tidy up, have a cup of tea and have some lunch. Bye now. Good morning people. Some more parts arrived, but unfortunately I've had a quick call to 2CV City this morning and they're not getting the extra pushrod tubes in till middle of next week, so that's sort of stymied it us for now. The inner tubes arrived, so I can get on with that, and some more formers for my bender have arrived. So what I've got now is 1/2 inch, 3/4, a larger 3/4, inch, 1.25 and 2 inch. So what I'm still looking for is 1.5 and 1 3/4, and then I've got the full set. Now the blue ones I'll have to make an adapter for because they're actually too small to fit on the end of the ram, so I'll have to make an adapter for the ram, but that isn't a problem. And they are in the smaller sizes anyway. But there you go. So I've almost got a usable pipe bending system, which is something I've never had. Right, I showed you yesterday I've got these lights finished, got the switch on, turned the switch around so that the left switch switches the left light, etc, etc. And last night I got the light up above the Covmac and the light up above the Student, which is showing off how level it is because it's got this level up there. And so what I'm going to do now is crack on and wire these, and I think when these are wired, I think that is, apart from possibly a Cat 5 cable which needs to go around, or a Cat 6 or a Cat 6E or whatever I've got, which needs to go around there, I think that is the wiring finished. I think that's all the wires in, which means I can now close up my ducting. I've got the pipe in there for the water, so I think I can probably crack on and close that up. That would be good. That would be awesome. There you go. The longer helicoils arrived as well. When you get a standard helicoil set like this, you generally get inserts in it which are 1.5D. That is 1.5 times the diameter of the bolt that they're repairing. But you can buy separately extra long ones. Right? And these are 2.5D. Which I'm putting in here because it's a deep hole with a deep thread in it, and what I shall do is when I get round to doing this I shall put a little a little video on helicoiling, because it's actually quite a simple process, and I've seen, although I try not to do it myself, I have done it drilling the hole out using a hand drill, because there are certain places where you're replacing I did a friend's Royal Enfield motorcycle. Royal Enfield rather unwisely used quite fine threads in some of their aluminium casing screws, with the result that the threads strip quite easily, and I put quite a few of those in using a rechargeable hand drill, so it can be done, and it does make a good job. So I'm going to do a little video on putting helicoils in, and I'm also going to do a video which will probably be starting next week now, on rebuilding the top end of a 2CV. I'm going to take the barrels off, check the piston rings, because I haven't actually checked the piston rings, just to make sure they're not stuck, and then whilst I've got the barrel off and the pushrod tubes out, it gives me opportunity to put a little bit of fine grinding paste on the top lip of the barrel and grind it into the cylinder head, because there's no head gasket. In fact, there's no gaskets on these to speak of. There's no head gasket, there's no cylinder base gasket. All the surfaces are machined so that they fit together without leaking, and it's a good idea just to grind them in, just to make sure that you've got full contact. So I shall do that, and I shall do a video on a crankcase up rebuild on the 2CV. So that's coming probably next week. Anything else to tell you at the moment? I've fixed my puncture glue. My vulcanising fluid had gone all thick and gloopy, and I'd tried acetone, and I'd tried cellulose thinners, and I'd tried all sorts of solvents, and they didn't touch it. The only thing that will touch this type of stuff is this lighter fluid, which is actually naphtha, right? And if you look on the back of the puncture repair kit here, it tells you that the solvent is naphtha. So if you've got one of these are quite expensive. These are about 18 quid, right? One of those, and it was like this when I bought it. I took the lid off, and it was thick and gloopy, and it wouldn't paint on properly. And I took it back to the place I bought it from, and they took the lid off a few more and realised that they were all like it. So I said, "Oh look, I'll keep it. I'll thin it with something." And I've tried all sorts, but it doesn't work. But naphtha does work. So if you see anything that wants thinning with naphtha, lighter fluid. Naphtha is also used in some paints to give them oil resistance and to give them superior hardening qualities. So watch out for it. Remember that you can use lighter fluid. You can buy naphtha from Amazon and various other places, but it's quite expensive compared to the cost of this, which was £2.40, which is, what's this? How many mils is this? Lighter fluid, 100 mils. If you look at the convenience, it's not stuff you want to have kicking around your workshop, because it's very highly inflammable. It's a very high fraction of petroleum. It's very highly inflammable, and it evaporates like the clappers. So best keep it in small amounts. Buy a small amount when you need it and use it. Right, so there you go. Right folk, I think that's it for now. I'm just cutting some conduits to length for my switch drops and my little roof drops. I use, this is the thing, the ceiling roses on the ends of the boxes are what's called, can you see that ceiling rose there? Can you? Yes you can, yes it's there. They're plug-in ceiling roses. I've used it on all of them. They've all got them on. And the great advantage of those is, if you want to take a fluorescent light fitting down, you spin the lid off, click and it unplugs, and then you just unhook it and lift it down to clean. Right? You can do this quite easily with all types of light fittings, LED light fittings. Plug-in ceiling roses are about, I paid £3.20 each for these at my local electrical wholesaler, and it saves standing at the top of the steps with your arms above your head for hours connecting and disconnecting. All you do is click and it's off. Okay, I think we've covered all the interesting stuff for the moment. Anything else happened? I don't think so. Right, I'll leave you for now and I'll bring you back when I've got these lights more or less working. But as I say, I think this is the last of the electrics, which is great, which means I can get it all boxed up. Bye for now. And here we go, walking through the workshop just to demonstrate. Isn't that better? Isn't that better, people? So this should give us much better views. I want to do some filming over the lathe while I'm turning. I can get the camera in the windowsill there and get a close-up on the chuck. I have discovered one thing. My splashback is no good. It wants a kink putting in it there so that it goes back and then up, because at the moment if I'm coming across a long way with the cross slide, this cover here catches on there, so I just have to put a kink in that and refit it, but that's no big deal. You learn these things as you go along. But there we are, a nice lathe light, and the whole thing gets a lot brighter, and the light's in front of you shining down on the job, not behind you, and you're not working in your own shadow. So there we go. That's it for tonight, people. It's Thursday evening, 4:30, 4:45, and I've got the call, so I've got to go and see my mum before I go back to Driffield. I'm going to pick up some vegetables. See y'all later. Right, folks, time to put the helicoil in the cylinder head. Now the first thing you have to do is to get a nice straight pin in the chuck of your drill and just check that you're square to the face, which I've actually done, so there's no need to prat about with that. I've actually got it square, I've done it, so we know that the hole we drill is going to be perpendicular to the face that we're working on. Right, so having done that, I'm now going to take the square off and the pin out, and I'm going to put the drill in and drill the hole. So I'll bring you back when I'm ready to do that. Okay, we've got the helicoil in the helicoil drill in the chuck, and I'm just going to clean this hole out now. Because of the noise the drill makes and the fact that I've got the camera actually attached to the drilling machine, I'm not going to show you the actual drilling of the hole, but I'm sure you've all seen holes being drilled before. Okay, bring you back in a minute. Okay folk, there we go, we've cleared the hole out, it's cleared all the old thread out. We've got a nice parallel hole there now, so the next thing to do is to put the thread in for the helicoil, which you do with the helicoil tap. I'm using the generic term helicoil, although this is actually a V-coil kit. They're all pretty much the same, they're all pretty much as good. Helicoil kits come with the best tools, without a doubt, but they are also the most expensive, so what you buy is up to you. Right, I'll set up for tapping and then I'll bring you back again. Right folks, what we've got here is a long straight hexagon spotting punch in the chuck, just to give us a centre for the starting the tap, and I've already started it, and there it goes down into the aluminium, cutting a beautiful thread. So I'll finish cutting this thread and I'll bring you back. Okay, that's it, we've cut the thread, so now we have to clean the hole out with the airline and then get ready to fit the helicoil itself. So there we go. Just check that. We'll fit the helicoil. I'll bring you back when I'm ready to do that. Right folks, there's a helicoil insert loaded onto the fitting tool. I've brought the collar right down so that it just gives it a nice grip on the end. And now, and I hope this is going to go well, we put it in. Sometimes it can be a bit fiddly to get them started, No, that's going straight in. Lovely. Let's just back that collar up a bit, because we're losing our grip on the tang. As the helicoil goes into the hole, it lengthens, because it's actually stretching a little to fit the thread. Now we're supposed to wind it in until it's a couple of threads below the surface. How goes that? Just a little bit more. Oops, sorry, hand blocking. There we go, we're just below the surface. And that's it, helicoil fitted, job done. And the final job, folks, is to get a little punch and break the tang off, which is just a matter of putting the punch into the hole and giving it a tap. That's it, snapped off. Okay, so don't be afraid of helicoils, because they're really easy to put in, although as I say, sometimes you do get problems getting them started. You have to be a bit careful, but once that's done, job's done. And this is a stronger thread than the original aluminium, so there you go. So if you break one, stick a helicoil in. Okay, see you later. Here we go, folks. The last light is installed. That's without it, and that's with it. What a difference, even though it's by a window. I mean, I really ought to get that double glazed pane changed, because it's full of condensation, but there you go. I'll get round to it. Right, well, it's getting on for 4 o'clock. I have to go home early tonight because I need to pick some stuff up for the wife. So it looks like that's the end of the week for this week, people. Thanks for watching. Send a comment, like, subscribe, and next week we'll do a 2CV engine rebuild from barrels upwards, because I'm going to take the barrels off, check the rings, grind the barrels into the cylinder heads, and we'll do a rebuild on this engine. Unfortunately, I'm going to be 2 pushrod tubes short until 2CV City get their order on Wednesday, but I can do most of it, and let's face it, when you've done it to one cylinder, the other cylinder's just the same. So there you go, people. Like, subscribe, do as you like. Now's true, that can do out. Bye for now.